Welcome to Coffee with Carrie. Appreciate you being here. Wanted to talk to clink, clink, clink. Wanted to talk to you a little bit today about dating safely. You see so many things in the news that scare you. Stories of people not getting to where they're expected, not getting home after they're supposed to have been somewhere else. And I just thought we should take this opportunity today to discuss some really great tips for making sure that you all, especially my gals out there, that you're getting home safely after a first date. It's odd now with the dating apps. It's not like all the people you meet have been recommended by one of your friends. You're not being set up by family members as they used to do pre-internet. So there's a lot more opportunity to be with strangers. And a lot of times that works great. That works out well in that a stranger can become your lifelong partner in many, many cases. Happens every day. On rare occasions, stories end up on the news, and we don't want to be one of those stories. So I thought, let's go through 7 tips I have to make sure you're being as safe as possible when you're out there meeting someone you don't know well. If that's at all interesting or intriguing, I hope you'll stick around because safety, that's what's on the agenda. Number one, you have complete control over where you choose to meet somebody. So my suggestion is meet somebody in a very public place. There's no reason to choose someplace that's secluded or to be somewhere that's more private or isolated. Plenty of great public places to be meeting somebody for a first date. This brings to mind my daughter and I going out for dinner when we were together visiting Nashville. And it's a very different city than Chicago, laid out really interestingly in that it's not a walking city. It's a place you have to drive to different neighborhoods to enjoy what each neighborhood has to offer. And we went out to a recommended restaurant, and the restaurant was fantastic, super cool, lots of people around. But when we had to walk back to where we'd parked our car, at this point in time, it's now pitch black outside, and it was more of an industrial area around this restaurant. Not like Chicago where you have, 40 blocks of restaurants and businesses that you could walk and stay in the streetlights. This was rather dark, secluded, and an area where all the businesses were closed by the time we left the restaurant and it was dark outside. And there was some joke that we kept playing with throughout the rest of our trip, which was about, make sure you bring your rape whistle. And as much as that was a joke, it felt a little scary, and we don't want to have to feel that we're in positions where we would need a whistle of that type. Therefore, make sure you're picking a place that's well lit, a place that has easy parking, and you can check all of this because this is the age of the internet by Googling it, Google Maps, street level, checking out where this place is. And if you're concerned by what you see, do a test run, do a drive-by, and make sure that it's a neighborhood and a place that you're going to feel comfortable leaving once the date's over. That's number 1. Number 2, anytime you go out to meet somebody new, even if it's daylight, you're meeting for breakfast or brunch or a cup of coffee midday, make sure you let somebody in your life know exactly where you're going and who you are going to be with. I send to my mother, my brother, and my best friend, all 3 of them, in case somebody doesn't get it, exactly where I'm going, what time, who I'm going to be with. I send screenshots of their dating profile with their picture, the phone number that they used so we could communicate and set up this date. Any information I have, I am relaying that to 3 other people in my life. In case they don't hear from me, they know where to start looking for me. And I usually have to call one of them, my mother typically, after a date is over and let her know that I've got home safely. So I suggest you do the same. It's not difficult to let one person in your life, a coworker, anybody, be armed with all the information they need about your whereabouts and your plans and intentions. Number 3, because of course you do have the internet at your disposal, I recommend doing your own cursory background check. You've got a first name, a last name, the phone number that they called you from on your caller ID when you were setting up plans. Make sure you are talking to this person before you make plans. At least you do have that extra piece of information and a voice. You want to talk to this person to make sure they are real, to make sure they sound like what you expect them to sound like, crazy accents if they said they're from one place and they have an accent from another. Often with those three pieces of information, you can find LinkedIn accounts if they've already told you what they do for work. You can find out cities that they live in, more information to pass along to your person with whom you're going to share your itinerary and information about this person. Lots of the large matchmaking companies now do background checks, but even smaller matchmaking companies and individual matchmakers do their due diligence, at least by starting with a driver's license and making sure this person is who they say they are, looking at their LinkedIn, having access to their social media to see that they are the person in the photographs you've seen, the person that we've talked to on the phone. No reason that you as an individual planning your own dates can't be doing this as well. Some people are really good at this, and I sometimes feel like I could maybe work as a PI in another life, or if matchmaking and coaching ever disappear for some reason. I think it's fun and interesting to be a sleuth on the internet and see how much information you can come up with. We, of course, as matchmakers are video chatting with these people, which is why it's a great idea for you to do that as well. You've got an extra piece of information for your search when the name and the picture are aligned and they're on a profile on LinkedIn telling you what this person does for work. I think it gives you a sense of comfort that you wouldn't have if you just went out there without trying to learn anything about this person. And it's been interesting. There have been some stories, both men and women, ending up to not be exactly as portrayed or to have some history that didn't make us confident sending them out with our clients. So you've got the internet at your disposal. Make good use of it and stay safe that way. Number 4 is to have your own transportation or a planned ride home. Interesting situations have been where it's daylight and it's a place that's not far from home and you've been able to walk there at 5 o'clock or 5:30 after work, but now it's 8 o'clock at night and it's dark out and you've got somebody who's standing there watching you walk home, or it's just not even safe to do at night. So knowing that you're going to grab an Uber or a Lyft or having a friend come pick you up, as opposed to relying on this person if things didn't go well to be your ride home. I prefer that all my clients make sure they're getting home on their own without having another person as part of that plan. But these are people that I've at least checked into and gotten to know rather well, so I think they feel safer. But it's not even anything I'd recommend for my own clients. I just think this is the time to be independent. And I'm a person who never wants to be without my car anyway, so I don't want to feel stuck somewhere. I want to know that my keys are in my purse and I can get out of someplace anytime I want to, which leads me directly to number 5, which is to not be afraid of looking rude or somebody thinking that you have bad manners because you're going to skedaddle because you don't feel comfortable. If anything about this date or the things this person is saying make you feel uncomfortable or the hair on the back of your neck stand up, then by all means, excuse yourself, make up an excuse and just leave. You don't have to be kind or have good manners. I know so many women have a problem with not wanting to appear bad-mannered or rude, and they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. They want to go with the flow and not be thought of negatively. And sometimes that can get people in trouble. It's fine to have bad manners and to be rude if you're not feeling comfortable. So don't worry about it. Better safe than sorry. So feel free to leave and not worry about your manners. Number 5 combines a couple of these together, but it is its own point. It is to park in a conspicuous place. So it goes along with driving yourself. And if it's between a dark garage or someplace blocks away that you're not going to feel safe and there's valet parking available, perhaps this is the time to splurge because it's about your safety. I don't want anybody walking down dark streets and needing to have that rape whistle just because they didn't think about what it was going to look like after dark or hours later when there was not a bunch of people walking around. So park somewhere really close by on a bright lit street, right across the street from the place, or take advantage of parking that they offer. Don't think about it after the date. Think about this ahead of time, not after the date when it's already dark and what are you going to do about it? Number 6 is to stay in charge and in control of your faculties and adhere to my 2-drink maximum, not 2-drink minimum, as I've been known to say. And this is not the night to experiment with drugs or see if perhaps you do better on first dates a little high. I guess I'm saying in a lot of these is to trust your gut. I think that trusting your own intuition, which we have for a reason, is really important. So anything that you're intuiting, that's there for a reason. It's there to protect you. And so many times when people end up in negative or bad situations, they will say that if only they had trusted their instincts or listened to their gut, that never would have happened. So make sure that you think about this as you're going to date so that you're prepared should you need to. And then finally, I'm suggesting that you get to know somebody a little bit better before either going back to their place or inviting them to your home. I know sometimes people are having a great time. They want the date to continue. Maybe they're not even thinking that's going to turn into something intimate, but they just don't want the date to end. Leave them wanting more and know somebody a little bit better before you even put yourself in a situation where you have to decide whether you want to be intimate this early in the relationship. And it's part of the reason I never recommend that people go to a second location. They say for women in dangerous situations, not with a date perhaps, but just being accosted on the street, to never leave that first location and allow this person to take you somewhere else, because your odds of surviving this go down dramatically. But I always use the phrase, don't go to a second location, just meaning don't go from the place that you were bowling or playing darts or having dinner or a cup of coffee to another place where this date's going to continue longer, even if it's a public place. Let's not go and play pool after dinner or have an after dinner drink, because we don't have to. If this date is going so well, that means your second date's going to be fantastic and you don't burn out and learn too much or have it go awry, which is what I've seen happen on numerous occasions. It always, in my world, works out better to leave while it's good and not overstay your welcome. So I hope you found that helpful, interesting. If you did, Mom suggests a thumbs up is in order if that's the case. And for me, I'd really appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button so that we can hang out again sometime soon. Don't forget to hit that ring bell, then you're notified every time a new episode goes live. And I look forward to our next time. Until then, thank you and have a good one.